Hello and welcome to my shop. In a recent video, I made this rack for my pressure pot that will allow me to cast aluminite blanks in 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Now, one of my concerns was these things can tip a little bit. They're not going to come out of the rack, but if they tip enough, it could leak resin out of the top of the blank. A good friend of mine, Michael DeLalter, came up with an idea. He suggested making a second disc with the exact same hole pattern as the top disc, mounting it on the awl thread at a height that's just right to cast normal size blanks, which are normally 5 1/4 inches. So mounted about 5 inches up, and I could put maybe some 5 1/2 inch blanks in there. I really liked that idea, and we made one for him using that idea. But I've piggybacked on his idea and come up with an even better idea. On this top disc, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut the disc about 1/4 inch past these holes. Just make it a circle and get rid of all this dead outside space that we don't need. Then I'm going to come back and actually on this particular disc, which will be the bottom disc, I'm going to drill holes around the outside. So what that'll mean is the top disc will be smaller, the larger blanks can go through these holes. I won't have to remove this top disc to cast normal size blanks, which would be 5 1/4 inches. I can just drop them into the outside holes and the top disc won't interfere with that. So I think it's going to make this PVC casting rack much more versatile. That was a mouthful to get out. Stick with me, I'll show you what I mean, and I think it'll make a lot more sense when you see the finished product. I'm looking for a disc that's roughly 5 inches in diameter. So I cut one of the discs down and it's rough size. You can see the red line still around it. I haven't shaped it yet. What I have done next is I took my little sanding jig that I was using on my disc sander and I went ahead and put a 1/4 inch hole 2 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the jig, and I've got a 1/4 bolt that I'll run up through the bottom of the sled. I can then lay my little disc right on here, and you can see there's the edge that's going to be running against the sander. I'll be able to clean that right up. Using a 1/4 bolt, I went ahead and attached both of my discs together. Now the idea behind this is I can see exactly where I want to put my holes for my normal size blanks on the bottom level of my rack. You will notice a slight stress crack in my larger acrylic ring. What I'm going to do is avoid that, so as I move around the outside, I'll just avoid putting a hole over that crack and there shouldn't be a problem. I went ahead and drilled all the holes around my outside ring. I didn't get crazy with measurements. I just kind of eyeballed them. That'll be good enough. And now we're ready to take this over to the assembly table and put it back together. Here's my new and improved PVC casting rack. I was able to get 11 5 1/2 inch PVC tubes around the bottom. The average blank is 5 1/4 inches, so that should be perfect for making standard size pin blanks. I do have the one blank space right here where I had the stress crack and I elected to stay away from it. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I can remove these blanks. I can tape up the bottom, reinstall them, and fill them without having to worry about removing the top disc. It gives me quite a bit of versatility. I'm really happy with it. I'd like to thank you for joining me in the shop tonight. I hope you enjoyed this little upgrade to the casting rack. I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon, and have a great evening, everybody.